Hi everybody, welcome to MJ's video series on the real estate transaction. Today our topic is building permits. This is always a painful topic, but like any good doctor, I'm here to provide the script to make this pain go away. Why is it painful? Because so many people do work on their home not realizing a permit is needed or think the contractor that they hired was going to take care of the permit, and that's not always the case. Generally, what work needs permits? First of all towns or every town does have their own criteria for permits, but this list somewhat reflects most of the towns. But always check with your local officials, building officials, since some towns do differ in the requirements. So generally, what work needs permits: roofs, decks, sheds, fences, pools, windows, siding, furnaces, hot water heaters, generators, electrical upgrades, plumbing upgrades, remodeling, rebuilding, additions, central air, and finished basements. Finished basements is the biggest culprit with people not getting permits for their finished basements. So why do I need to get a building permit? Because I run into this all the time. People are complain, why do I have to go through all this work to get these building permits? Everybody seems to do it and not get a permit. Well, these are the really important reasons why you're getting building permits. Number one, it's the building code. It's the law. You're supposed to get a permit from the building department. The building department is there to make sure that the contractors are doing what they're supposed to be doing correctly and safely. If you have Uncle Joe decide he's going to come over and wire your basement because Uncle Joe works for an electrical contractor during the day and he moonlights at night, that might be fine, but Uncle Joe may not know what the latest code rules are, or he may not do things properly, and you're going to run into trouble on that. We're happy that Uncle Joe wants to come and help you, but honestly, you should get a licensed E1 contractor, electrical contractor in to do that work. Because obviously at the end of the day, you are responsible. You as the homeowner are responsible. And you can also be responsible after the closing for work that was not done by professionals. So always hire licensed professionals. The next reason why you need to get permits is the property conditions disclosure statement that was put out by the state of Connecticut. That every person or every homeowner selling their house must fill out. Section E says, building permits and certificates of occupancy. Prospective buyers should consult with the municipal building official in the municipality in which the property is located to confirm that building permits and certificates of occupancy have been issued for work on the property. So you have to sign this statement and attest that all the work that you've done on your property was done with proper permits and you closed out your permits. So that's the second reason why you need to get permits, because you have to sign this saying you did it. And this is required by the state of Connecticut. Third reason why, savvy buyer's agents as well as buyers will ask for it in the actual real estate contract. Some real estate contracts actually say in there that the homeowner is required to make sure that all permits were pulled and closed out prior to closing. So, don't think that just because you run into an agent that may not know that you have to ask for permits. Sometimes it's right in the contract, or buyer's agents will add it in. We've even had instances where the appraiser has actually called the town and inquired. So if you don't want to get a nasty letter from the zoning official from the town, you have to make sure that you do this. So, and that's very, very important, because that's how the buyer gets their loan. From the appraisal is a really integral part of the real estate transaction. Number 5, inspectors are going to ask for them, especially if they see something fishy. Again, if there looks like there's inappropriate wiring or inappropriate plumbing, or the roof was put on and there's no tar paper under there, there could be problems with the home inspection, and they may make note of it. Number 6, the lenders. This goes back to the appraisers, but the lenders will require it. Back in 2008, banks were stuck with a lot of foreclosed property that had items in the house or had work done in the house without any permits. And then it was their responsibility to not only foreclose on the property and spend all the money to do the foreclosure, now they had to get permits for items in the house that were not previously permitted for. So Lenders are very sticky with this. Maybe if you have a cash sale, you're not going to have that problem, but you've got these other areas in which the permit issue comes up. Lastly, the title insurance. Here's a copy of Connecticut Attorney's Title Insurance Statement. This is something that you have to sign and attest your name that you have no knowledge of the construction of any building or structural modifications or improvements on the property that was performed without obtaining a building permit, and if applicable, a certificate of occupancy. Further, the undersigned has no knowledge of any present violation of any zoning or subdivision regulation or any private restriction. You're not going to escape the permit issue. There are 7 areas in which are going to come up during the transaction that are going to compel you to make sure that you have all the permits. And that's why we're starting this process early and making sure that you understand why they need to be done. And now we're going to talk about, what do we have to do? How long will the process take? As soon as I come out to take a look at the property and we go to town hall and check your records, and we notice that there are missing permits, you want to start right immediately, because the process can take up to 30 days to rectify. You may need to bring in a vendor such as a plumber, an electrician, a carpenter to come and check out what you've done to make sure that it was done properly. And if it wasn't done properly, they're going to have to do the fixes to make it proper. And then you're going to have to go to the building department, fill out the permit, pay the fee, and then wait for the inspector to come out and take a look at what you have. Sometimes the question comes up, can I still list my house if I have these permits that I haven't gotten or in the process of? Yes, of course, the house can be listed, and we can work on the permitting issue simultaneously. What we do is just disclose to a prospective purchaser in the disclosure statement that you're going to sign that you're in the process of getting these permits, and all permits will be obtained and closed out prior to closing. So no problem, the listing process can go on, and you kind of do this simultaneously. Of course, the next question is, how much is this going to cost me? Because everyone's always worried about what it's going to cost in terms of permit fees, in terms of contractor fees, and in terms of, are my taxes going to go up? Really, the fee for the actual work is not all that expensive, especially in comparison to what you're selling your house for. You're selling a $200,000 house and you didn't get a permit for your deck, and your deck costs $5,000. Your permit fee is probably somewhere between $50 and $100. It's really small change in order to get the proper permits done for that. There are no back taxes due. There's going to be no penalty. You're not going to go to real estate jail, and the official in the town hall is not going to scold you. You're going to be fine. They are happy that you're in getting the permits and doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. The big $64 million question is, will my taxes go up? Will my real estate taxes go up? And depending on what the permit is for and how much it costs, or what that item that you did the construction for, yes, it's going to impact your overall assessment, but you probably will never, you won't still own the house when the assessment actually goes into effect, because the assessments are all adjusted as of October of that year. That's when the grand list is established, and that's used to figure out what the taxes are for July of the following year. So if you have the work done in September, the assessment will change for October, but you won't see that effect until July of the following year. So don't worry, you're not going to have an immediate incident where you're going to have to pay more taxes. And again, I'm going to have a caveat to that, to say, if it was a major item like an addition or a garage or a swimming pool, then those are big ticket items, and the town can send you a supplemental tax bill if they were to have found out that you did this work without a permit. But honestly, your neighbors would have squealed on you much sooner if you started putting a pool or an addition on without a permit. Because let me tell you, the neighbors are always watching what people are doing, and they'll call to make sure that somebody in the neighborhood will definitely call to make sure that you've done your due diligence and gotten your permit. So don't worry about the tax increase. It's going to be minimal, and you need to do it. And just remember what you're paying or what you're selling your house for. thousands and thousands of dollars. The fees are very minimal, and even your tax increase is going to be minimal. So sometimes we run into a situation where we can't get a permit. There are rare occasions when a permit simply can't be obtained. I'm not an attorney, but in this instance, the seller's attorney would have to call CATIC, Connecticut Attorneys Title Insurance Company, for an approval. And remember, the lender doesn't have to agree to it, nor does the buyer. This would be a very rare instance. Let's say many, many years ago you put a shed on your property and you didn't get a permit for it, and now the shed happens to be in wetlands, and today the town would never let you put that shed there. You might be able to get an exception for that shed, and again, Connecticut Attorneys Title Insurance Company would be the body that would determine that, so that you didn't have to actually remove your shed. So in a rare instance, you might be able to do an exception. But again, the buyer and the lender don't have to agree to that exception. So it's always prudent to get permits for everything you need to do. How is a permit closed out? Once the work is completed, the homeowner needs to schedule, or you need to schedule, an inspection with the town. This could, again, take days or weeks to happen, so plan in advance. The town official comes out to view the improvement and either approves it, or he can fail it, or she can fail it too. And if it gets failed, then they're going to tell you what needs to be done. Then you have to call the vendor that helped you set it up in the first place and get them to fix that, and then call for another inspection. If your permit is approved, then it will have to be closed out. You need to get that closed permit, because that's going to tell the lender and the buyer and the attorney that everything was done properly. There is one exception. Sometimes people take out permits and they never close them out. Let's say you took out a permit for the shed shed was delivered, and you never called the town to come back to do a re-inspection. So they never closed out the permit. There is a Connecticut state statute that helps in this situation. This is Public Act 17-176, an act concerning the closure of certain building permits. So what the state of Connecticut says is, if you took that permit out 9 years or longer, and you did take the permit out, but an official did not come out to close out the permit, then the state of Connecticut considers that permit closed. So you don't have to worry about getting an official to come out. But the permit had to be taken out in the first place. You can't say, oh, I did the work 9 years ago, but I didn't take the permit out. No, this law does not apply to that. This law applies to people that took the permit out, didn't get the official out to close it out, kind of forgot about it, because many people just forget about it. They get the permit, they pay the fee, and they think that's all they need to do. But you have to close it out. So that public act does help those who took the permit but didn't get it closed. That's the permit saga. Remember, please get permits for all the work you do that need permits. It's safer for you, and it's easier when it comes to selling your home. Do all this work today. Do it when you're not under pressure from a real estate transaction. Disclaimer, I am not an attorney, and this is not legal advice. However, it's real estate knowledge that will keep you out of trouble, keep us out of trouble, and get your home closed successfully. As always, I'm available for questions either by phone or by email. You can also visit me on any of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Please hit the like button if you felt this video was valuable to you. It's very important to me to have lots of likes. This is MJ Agostini with Remax Right Choice, and hope to see you soon.